Okay, that final battle was really cool. What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. So I was planning on watching two brand new Netflix movies this morning, and then I realized that American Vandal Season 2 has dropped, so I was just going to watch that and ignore the other stuff. And then somebody got in my comment section and said, Austin, you should review a movie called Bleach. So I looked into it, I found out what it was, and here we are. Bleach just came out on Netflix. If you guys don't know how my reviews work, I like to talk about the good, the bad, and then give you my score. Let's start out with the good. So Ichigo Kurosaki is a high school student who is able to see ghosts as well as hollows. Later, he meets up with a girl named Rukia, a death god or soul reaper, and finds out that he himself is a soul reaper as well. Ichigo is now with the power of a soul reaper, and he is able to protect the town from the hollows. Wow, okay, what are the rules here? This is interesting. I've never heard of most of these words. You have to watch the movie to find out. And I watched the movie. Now, I'm going to start off with this. I want to set this up before I dive into this. I have never seen the anime show, so I went into this movie completely blind. I can 100% say that it's a more accurate depiction than something like Death Note or Ghost in the Shell, which, you know, I didn't mind Ghost in the Shell, but it wasn't that good. And then Death Note, apparently it was really different than the anime series. Now, this movie, I don't know how to compare it. I've not looked up anything online on how it differs from the anime series. I'm just going to judge this as a film, as a movie, what I got in that 2 hours. And what I got was actually a lot of fun. There are a lot of things in this movie that I was not expecting, words and terms that I had to learn, but the good thing about this film is they do a good job at thoroughly explaining the world. Now, there are certain things that they don't explain, and I'll get into that in my negatives, but what they explain to me, how this works and how certain characters have relationships with other characters, I don't want to spoil anything, but I will tell you that there is so much lore and things to learn. This made me want to go watch the anime series because it is so interesting. It is like a comic book come to life mixed with this different culture. Like, I loved learning all of the backstories on, okay, what is a hollow? What is a reaper? What does this do? How does this work? How do these people in real life feel about what's going on in the spiritual world? Do they even know what's going on? You learn all of the answers to these questions, well, most of the answers to these questions within this film. Great mythology, great characters, the monsters. Oh my God, the monsters were so I'm gonna call them monsters. They're not actually called monsters, but they were so scary looking. Holy cow. And the CGI actually wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't the greatest thing I've ever seen, but after watching Predator last night and that giant CGI Predator, comparing that to this, and I'm sure the budget to this was actually a lot lower than the Predator, I'm just saying, they did a really good job and they made it look super realistic. And of course, this is a strict Japanese film. You have all Japanese actors, you have subtitles you're gonna have to read if you want to watch this movie. If you are American, if you are Japanese, it's absolutely perfect. I really love how they stuck to their guns here. They didn't go get a bunch of American actors to play. No, they did it exactly how they should have done it. And like I said, I've not watched the series, so I don't really know what to compare it to, but I really loved most of the people on screen. I thought the acting was really good. Our main character was compelling. I loved our female character. All of them, they got me attached and I was hooked on that story. Some of the dialogue was cheesy in the one-liners, but it really felt like an anime come to life. It's the first time I have ever watched an anime-based movie and I'm like, okay, that's what they would do in an anime show. Some of it felt like, so I just rewatched One Punch Man. It's a series I love. And there are things that happen in One Punch Man and they're like translated into this movie, just certain like expressions and ways that they use sound effects. I'm like, yeah, the director did a really good job of capturing how an anime plays as well as he could in real life, because it's really hard to capture that magic. I don't think anybody's done it 100% successfully yet, but this is like the closest I have ever seen. Now, are there story problems? Sure. Did the director do a mediocre job at explaining certain things? Of course, especially to people that aren't familiar with the source material, but I will definitely say this movie was fun. I had a great time with all of the action scenes. I really liked some of the more tender moments between the characters. The movie really knows when to just stop and let you sit there and soak in these characters' emotions, so I like that. And the final battle, I said this at the beginning of the video, but final battle was really cool. I love the special effects and the sword-on-sword action, man. You can't go wrong with that. Okay, now I do have problems with this movie, and some of these issues that I have, I can't really say that they're super big issues because a lot of them are like, okay, these are Japanese anime cliches that are usually in these TV shows that I find, but I don't want to judge this as I would an American movie because these movies, they're made a little bit differently. They're made with this certain style and edge and flair, and I think this understood what it was more than most movie reviewers are going to give it credit for. I don't know. I've not read any of the reviews. As far as I know, people might hate this movie, but I actually kind of enjoyed it. It's some of the lines, it's so serious at times, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, his sword is so big. It's like, you had to say it like that? And then they keep playing this song throughout the movie, and I really like the way that the song is going, and it gets you all hyped up, but the lyrics, man, it just keeps talking about milk. It's like, give him some milk. What's that have to do with any? Why are you playing the milk song? I'm sure it sounded cool, but the lyrics were just so distracting, they could have just, like, struck the lyrics. And they explain some of the rules in the characters' backstories, and then other rules, it's just not very well explained. Why do certain people not remember other instances? And yes, they say, okay, this character's not going to remember this, but they never really explain why these other characters aren't remembering this or seeing that. It's like they try to give you a good idea here, but they don't explain this. And not that I need everything to be force-fed to me, because I can figure out things on my own. It's just like, some of it was a little too vague for me.
Bless you. Bless you.
And we get a training montage. Now, the training montage was really well done, but I could have done without that. I wanted to see more in-depth what they were doing and how they were training for this specific goal. And that's why I think this would have worked better as a live-action series as opposed to a movie. I wanted to dive into the characters more. I wanted to soak in the relationships more. I just think this could have worked better as like an 8 to 10 episode series as opposed to a 2-hour movie. And the movie slowed down a bit in the second half. It wasn't as interesting in the second half as it was the first half. I was a lot more hooked, a lot more on board. We get certain characters that come in and they make a big impact, especially the dude with the arrow. That guy was cool. And Bleach gets a 72% from me, a very unexpectedly entertaining movie, something that has been translated from Japanese anime to live action, and it actually kind of worked. I'm glad that it did. They actually kind of stuck to their guns, and like I said, guys, I have not seen this series. Maybe I need to go back and revisit that, and I'll realize, wow, the series was a lot better than the movie, but you know what? The movie was actually pretty good. Let me know in the comments down below, did you like Bleach? Are you a fan of Japanese anime? Are you a fan of Japanese films? It's a lot different than an American film, but I'm completely okay with that because I had a good time with it. And also, I can't guarantee this 100%, but I'm going to try to binge watch American Vandal Season 2 and have that review out to you guys either at the end of the day today or at the beginning of the day tomorrow. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you later.